What's up, everyone? This is going to be my review for Alien Earth Episode 4. I previously recorded the video and I had issues with loud noises in the background. Also, I was supposed to record this 2 days ago. However, I was procrastinating and didn't get it done, so I'm doing it now. Better late than never. This is going to be a shorter, quicker review since I just did a very long review and then there was issues with the sound. So, I'm gonna start from the beginning by saying that this episode, these last two episodes, 3 and 4, are not as action packed as 1 and 2 were. Already did my episode 3 review. You could see it on my channel. Um, my episode for episode 4, I'm gonna come out and say that this episode, if you're expecting intense action, that's not what's in this episode. This is definitely a building episode, rising action, if you remember that from English class. And now they're setting the stage for what's to come in the second half of the season, and I think it will be intense. I know some people haven't liked the show so far, some people love it. I'm one of the people that love it so far, so keep that in mind. Um, Episode 4 title is Observation, and we see that a lot of people are being observed in this episode. Wendy is being observed by Boyd Cavalier and the scientists. They're trying to figure out why it is that she can hear the xenomorph language, which what makes the other female hybrid jealous now that because she learned French to impress Boyd Cavalier, and then she said, "Yeah, you learned." Then he said, "You learned French, but can you do that?" Once it was discovered that Wendy can hear and speak the language of the aliens, the xenomorph specifically, not the other aliens that were also on the plane. So in this episode, we have that Wendy being observed. We have the large-eyed alien tentacle creature that pulls out the eyes of other animals or creatures and crawls inside, and then its tentacles go into the brain, and then it takes over those other aliens. We find, or human beings. We find out that, and it also took over a cat in the first episode, same alien. So we find out that it is a highly intelligent species, and it was observing the hybrid Isaac and the synth, whose name I keep forgetting, the white-haired older synth. It is observing them, and the white-haired synth seems very interested. His part in this episode, he's like really mysterious, because nobody knows what's on his mind. Nobody knows what it is he's planning. We see certain instances he's acting real suspicious, and it's not clear whose side he's on. Then there's the male hybrid. What is his name? Smee or Smithy, who has the cyborg Morrow speaking to him secretly through a chip, a biochip that he implanted into his skin. So now they can hear each other's thoughts. Well, not thoughts, but when they try to speak to each other, they can speak to each other. But I think Morrow can hear him all the time. He can't hear Morrow all the time. Only when Morrow wants him to. That's how it seems to me. Morrow threatens him after finding out his real name. He uses that to get to his family. He threatens his mom. He's sitting there with his mom like you know what I'm gonna do if you don't do what I say. So Smithy he attempts to steal an alien egg. It doesn't work. And then Morrow tells him that he has to bring a human to the egg so the face hugger could, get on their face. They could get infected with the chest burster, and then he has to bring that person to him. It seems like he's gonna pick Joe, Wendy's brother, because he's jealous and that his brother's got put in danger. Wendy's brother needs. They should have just easily explained, like, he can't leave. He's not here. She's not getting special treatment. Her brother literally basically got kidnapped by his employer. enforced into working for him for the rest of his life because they took out his lung. And then they're like, we gave you that lung, so we saved you, even though he didn't appear to have any lung injuries. A stab to the lung kills you in a few seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, you know, possibly. Like, so what is, he shouldn't have been able to survive a stab to the lung like that. So I don't think and it looked like he got stabbed in his lower abdomen, not in his lung. So they just took out his lung so that they can own him, so that he can owe them something. And they put a xenomorph embryo in there. We see when later in the episode, Wendy. Also, this is not going to be in order. Wendy talks to the chest burster, and it burst out of his lung, and she's talking to it. She like petting it. It seems to like her because she speaks the alien language. Okay, so that's what's going on with that. I find it interesting that one thing I definitely like is they immediately figured out that she's hearing these noises. It wasn't something that was drawn out and dragged out for the whole season. I know I said that in a lot of videos. Like, oh, you want? It's not like I want things to happen, everything to happen immediately. But people should be intelligent. These are supposed to be super intelligent boy cavaliers. Apparently, like one of the smartest people on earth. You know, a teenage trillionaire. He got his trillions from being smart. And the sense is supposed to be super, like supercomputer brains. It shouldn't take the smartest people on earth to figure out many things. You know what I mean? Too long to. It shouldn't take them too long to figure out simple things. Like she's collapsed in the middle of the lab, holding her ears. Like if they wouldn't have realized this episode, it would have been unrealistic because they're supposed to be. He's supposed to be the smartest kid on earth and smartest person. Forget kid. You know, one of the five. You know, or 10 or whatever. That's how you end up getting. That's how you end up getting $1 trillion because he invented things nobody else could invent. And so the intelligence of the characters is something that I like about this show. Okay, now in this episode we see the older synth approaching Smithy, and when he's in a room pointing out to see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, monkeys on the wall, and he's letting them know like he asks him what he thinks that means, and he questions him like, and you hear Morrow in his ear, in the Smithy's ear, like, hey, be careful, you know. If Smithy is his name, I'm not sure, so it might not be. He's Smithy or Smee might be the other one. Like, whatever. I'll figure out their name. I have to write it down to remember because there's similar weird S names that like nobody really has. Um, and so uh, the synth knows exactly what's going on. He's been monitoring him, and the hybrids don't seem to realize that can be monitored at any and every time. Their vision, their hearing can be monitored and accessed by Boy Cavalier and the scientists at any time. They don't seem to notice. If Smithy knows this, then he's a fool because he would know that they would know that he's been talking to Morrow. But they don't all know. Only the white-haired synth knows. So far, he didn't tell Boy Cavalier. That's why his motives are unclear. But it is clear from the first episode that he one doesn't like Boy Cavalier and two doesn't like humans. That whole speech about humans thinking that they were no longer prey, but they still are. I think that was definitely foreshadowing that he might not be on the human side at all. Because the main human he's around, Boy Cavalier, is a complete and total douche. And I really hope Boy Cavalier dies. Like I wanted to see him get ripped to shreds by aliens. Not even fast, like a slow ripping to shreds by aliens. Because he's just a moralist douche like complete idiot manipulating, not idiot, asshole, complete asshole manipulating people, taking out people's organs and forcing them basically into slavery for you. Or you could work for me, or for the rest of your life, or you can quit and then you just owe me the money for this loan. And people are making it seem like it's $1 billion loan. I don't know. Maybe there's huge inflation. Like that's how he got $1 trillion. Because nobody, So, but it seemed like maybe a lung, mechanical lung, 10 million maybe. But who knows? Medical prices are crazy here. People get $1 million charges for simple surgeries here. So you know what? That old new lung probably would be 100 million or $1 billion. Whatever it is, he's never gonna pay it off as long as he lives. He got to work for them till he dies. And he agrees, and Joe agrees, and he knows that he can't take Wendy back. They tell him in no universe do you take her out of here. So we see his unit is back. He has a discussion with Wendy, and he tells her that he tried to see her in the hospital. He wasn't allowed to. He tried again and again. There was no way. Of course, Boyd Cavalier didn't let him. But later in the episode, Boyd Cavalier lies and says, "Oh, your brother just didn't want to see you. If it was me, I would have done anything to see you." Wendy notices, and I think his hubris is gonna cost him. I want everything to cost him. I want him to have like one of the worst deaths in television history, because, like, going back to referencing Game of Thrones, some people didn't get the terrible deaths they deserved in the end of that, and that was so we need to, not that these shows are connected in any way, but we need to see some villains getting what they deserve, you know. And he's clearly a villain, like, the whole corporate structure, whatever you want to call, whatever you want to say about that. He's just completely moralist, and he's just using people as if they're inanimate objects. Not just Simpson hybrids, but actual human beings. He's tracking everyone. He's using everyone, insulting everyone. Um, Hubris to the max. Uh, Nibs is going crazy. So all of the Simps seem to be having issues. When they find out that Joe's there, they're like, all of our brothers should be here. And she's like, oh, well, Joe works for the company. And that's what Wendy's saying. But Joe's like, no, I agree. All of their siblings. And Joe's like literally going against Boyd Cavalier too much. Like, I think he thinks like Boyd Cavalier, like he knows he's a dick, but I think he thinks he's a better person than he really is. Like, I think he'll get you killed and he won't care, and I don't think Joe realizes that. I think he's playing with fire. Also, Smithy wants wants to use Joe for some reason. Like Joe, who's everybody, like Wendy's gonna notice, where's my brother, but he's gonna go after Joe for some reason. Why? Because his brothers are in danger and he doesn't get to see his family, but she does. The jealousy, of course. They have the jealousy of little kids. And so we see that taking place in this episode. And also the foolishness of little kids. Like, dumbass, take a random person. Don't take somebody that, since he's been here, has spoken to the CEO every day. They still have questions for him. Boyd Cavaliers wants to use him to figure out if their experiments were successful, or if they just downloaded memories and it's just a machine with memories. Is it really her soul inside they never use the word soul, but that's the implication. Or is it just a computer with fake ones and zero memories that is not real? Which also leads to the implication, or the question of, is it even possible? Which is something that happens in sci-fi. I always thought about when they're like, hey, we could just download our brains into computers. My thought was always, would that really be you? Like, if you download your brain into a computer, do you wake up inside the computer, or do you really just die and the computer has your memories and it's not you, but everyone thinks it is you? This is one of my biggest sci-fi questions about, like, 'cause they do that in other shows. Oh, download the person's mind in a computer. My thought is always, is it really your mind, or is it just a computer pretending to be you that thinks it's you? Like, would I go to sleep and really, I wake up and I'm controlling the computer? Is it the computer just thinks it's me now? That's always been like a huge paradox for me, because it's like the computer would pretend it's me because it would think it's me. And the only person that would know if it really is me is me. But nobody would ever be able to figure out if I just died or if I really lived. Or if the computer just has my thoughts. But are we our thoughts? Or are we the soul that is having the thoughts? That's a big question. And that is the question that Boyd Cavalier and his second in command have, and the scientists. When the scientists said, did we really download their brains and take their souls out? Not their souls, like I said, they don't say souls, but take them out of their bodies and put them into the machine bodies? Or did we just kill six kids and make machines that think they're kids? So that's a huge question. It's not answered in the episode, but that's, like I said, they're building up these things. This video is now longer than the last one, so whatever. But still, um, so all of that with Morrow. Nibs thinks she's pregnant. She starts getting violent and threatening with the doctor. Not verbally threatening, but physically threatening. She jumps across the room, lands on her, like pressure on her neck. She's not choking her, but she's got like hands tight around right here and right here. But she's not grabbing her neck, but she's got her by the collar, real tight. And the psychiatrist smartly, and she's an impressive person, she acts like it's all cool, acts like it's no big deal. Calls security, gets security. She's like, oh, I gotta go talk to Boyd Cavalier. So they'll escort you back to your room, and she tells them, lock her room down. We got a level 3 event. Because these hybrids don't seem to have the same rules that synths have. Synths are not allowed to hurt humans. But because they think they're humans, it seems to me that these hybrids don't have that rule. Like they said they aren't allowed to hurt people. But when Morrow asked them in episode 2, could you hurt someone? And they was like, it depends on if they're threatening my family or our parents. A synth wouldn't say that. They would say, no, I cannot under any circumstances because of the rules, unless it's a direct order from the company and the company's like skirting the rules or changing some code in there or whatever. But these guys do not seem to have those rules. And I don't know if it's because they weren't programmed with those rules, like Boyd Cavalier didn't care at all, or is it because they're not synths, they're hybrids, they think they're humans, so that machine cannot hurt a human thing doesn't apply to them because they feel that they are human? We will see. But Nibs seemed to have no problem getting ready to rip the doctor's head off. And also she's going crazy. She thinks she's pregnant. Unless, is it possible that that alien creature is able to implant even in sense and take over them by taking over the computer inside of them like it takes over a person's brain? You know that the xenomorphs don't try to implant in sense because they need, you know, biological material for the chest bursters to grow in. But that may not be true for this alien eye creature because it doesn't grow inside the creature. It just takes over its brain. And as we know, the brain works on sending electrical signals through the neurons. So maybe it could just take over the electrical pathways of a computer. That would be cool. But also, this thing might take over a xenomorph. Possibly. I don't think they have eyes though. But if it ends up being a different version of the xenomorph, like how there are different versions in the comics. If it's who knows, I don't know what's gonna happen. Um, now I'm like thinking to myself, like, are you kidding me? Do they have eyes or not? Like, I'm like drawing a blank right now. It's crazy, but either way, the and I think there's 5 alien species. There's the xenomorph, the eye, the plant, the bloodsucker. I don't know what the other one is. So that's interesting. What is that fifth species that they got? So they got the xenomorph, the bloodsucker, whatever. I'll figure out. I'm just probably missing one. I don't remember. But so I'll say the episode. I'll give it a 7. It is building up to a lot of things, and if what it builds up to pays off with intensity and action, then it's definitely a 7. We do see like we see corporate espionage. We see what looks like betrayal. It looks like the white-haired synth is gonna betray Boy Cavalier, and he absolutely deserves it. Um, then we got Smithy betraying the company to save his family. We got the the Nibs going crazy, so she's probably gonna betray the company. She's mad, like I guess, like they didn't get to choose their genders, all these things. Well, no, she's mad they were named after the Lost Boys, but they're not all boys. Um, Nibs, yeah, Nibs is gonna be an issue. So is Smithy. Um, the one black male synth. No, there's two of them because Isaac's black also, but the more dark skinned one, I really got I really got to get these people's names. I think he might be Smee, and then the other one's Smithy, so he might be Smee. He had an issue with, oh, why can't our families come back? So he seemed to have the least issue out of all of the synth. Wendy's like playing along, but she's also like not liking Boy Cavalier because she realized that he's lying. She doesn't know that they like strong armed her brother yet, so that might be an issue when she finds out. Who I'm trying to say less. Each video I'm gonna try to say less because I know that's annoying. It's annoying me. I almost said it again. So, uh, bear with me, please. Smee seems to have the least of the issues. The other female one, besides Wendy and Nibs, she just wants to be the favorite, and now she's mad at Boy Cavalier because he insulted her because she can't speak the alien language. She's like, "Oh, you learned French, but can you do that?" So she didn't like that. That rubbed her the wrong way. Things are gonna be intense. Things are gonna be good, and that's my review for episode 4. I think it's a 7. A great building up episode. A lot of information. We see people starting. Everyone in this company seems to be going against Boy Cavalier. The scientist, he's mad that they're spreading themselves too thin. Uh, Nibs thinks she's pregnant. She's mad they didn't get to choose their names. Only Wendy did. All of these things. The other one's mad that she's not the favorite. Smithy's completely compromised. He's about to try to implant Joe with a freaking face hugger to save his family, his brothers, and his mom, and his siblings, his sisters also. The white-haired synth clearly hates Boy Cavalier and is planning something. He touched the xenomorph egg. I think he's he's gonna do the same thing Smithy's gonna do. I think Smithy's gonna go after Joe. I think he's about to go after Boy Cavalier, just yoke him up and throw him in there. Who knows? I think these next couple episodes are gonna be really good. Stay tuned, like and subscribe if you want to, or if you like these videos. I'm gonna try to post more videos. Now I've been going through a lot this whole year or past 12 months, and trying to lock in and get back to doing more YouTube videos, this other things, vlogs. Got a lot of stuff planned, and I need to just start doing these things. I can't keep procrastinating. Can't just keep wanting to do things. You got to get out there and do it. So, speak to you guys next time. Hopefully, next time I can find my chapstick. My dog chewed up my chapstick last night, so I didn't have any. It is what it is, man. Have a nice day, and keep on living your life.